Right now at noon, UW-Madison has reinstated former football player Quintus Cephas after he was found not guilty of sexual assault. And President Trump tamps down on talk of recession, what economists are saying about the chances.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. The University of Wisconsin-Madison has decided to readmit Quintus Cephas. The former Badgers football player was expelled after he was accused of sexual assault in April of 2018. Earlier this month, Cephas was found not guilty by a jury on 2 counts of sexual assault. UW-Madison released a statement today saying, as a result of this review, sanctions for Quintus Cephas have been reduced and the expulsion lifted. There were findings of responsibility of the student non-academic academic misconduct code that were upheld. Chancellor Rebecca Blank also said, to those in our community who have experienced sexual assault, I sincerely hope that there is nothing in this case that will deter you from coming forward for support. Our universities continue to be prepared to listen and respond. Well, more on the story in later newscasts, but now let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese has your Monday forecast.
Hello, guys. We've had plenty of sunshine out there today. That has allowed the temperatures to warm up quickly. We started out at 60 this morning. We're now at 75 degrees with the calm wind. Dew points remain into the mid-50s, so it's very comfortable. Kenosha at 78 right now. One of the cooler spots would be Camp Douglas at 72. Mineral Point has made it to 81 now, and all of these temperatures are now warmer than they were 24 hours ago after starting this morning a lot cooler than just 24 hours ago. That is what drier air and high pressure can do. But folks, just to our south, it is a lot warmer and a lot more humid throughout parts of the Midwest. But folks, we are going to stay comfortable going through today. We'll warm up a couple more degrees, look for a high right around 81 before cooling down into the 60s overnight tonight, Mark.
A great August afternoon.
Yes, it is.
All right, we'll check back in a few minutes. Thank you, Chris. An officer responding to a report of a burglary attempt was attacked by a man with an edged weapon and fired his gun, killing the man in Caledonia. Caledonia police say that the officer suffered a serious head wound and was taken to a hospital. His injuries were described as survivable. The unidentified man that is shot by the officer died at the scene. Caledonia is about 20 miles south of Milwaukee. 20-year-old James Reardon, an avowed white nationalist, is expected to be arraigned today in Ohio after allegedly plotting a mass shooting against Jews. Ohio police and FBI agents raided Reardon's home, uncovering semi-automatic weapons, ammo, a gas mask, and bulletproof armor. Police on Friday arrested 25-year-old Tristan Wicks in a Florida grocery store parking lot, reportedly after a tip from his ex-girlfriend. In Connecticut on Friday, Brandon Wakeshall appeared in court after his arrest for illegal possession of large-capacity magazines. Police claim Wakeshall expressed interest in committing mass shootings on Facebook. CBS News security analyst Paul Vilos is urging people to speak up if they see threats online.
We can turn this around with respect to our active shooters. But if we don't, we're going to be back here probably in the next week or so, if not less.
An FBI study shows more than 50% of active shooters share their plans beforehand, but those critical warning signs are only reported around half the time. And with many students heading back to school, the Dane County Sheriff's Department is offering tips for parents to talk to their children about active shooter situations. Deputy Jocelyn Longley says it's important for parents to encourage their kids to see something, say something, no matter their age. Be sure to get them into thinking about how they would react in an event of an active shooter situation. For example, tell your child to think about 3 ways they would exit a given space.
Age-appropriate conversations about, if you were in church or if you were in school and you had to get out, tell me 3 places you could get out. You don't have to scare them and use other tactics, just getting them thinking. Or, if we were here in this area and something happened and we had to get somewhere safe, where is somewhere we could get behind a door? How could we lock it? How could we barricade it?
News 3 Now this morning is helping your family get ready to go back to school all month long. Tomorrow, they'll tell you how you can help teachers cover the cost of their classroom supplies and get a pint of adult beverage for free in the process. The Trump administration is dismissing suggestions that the U.S. economy is headed for a recession. President Trump downplayed the possibility of a downturn, but a new survey shows more than a third of business economists expect a recession by 2021, if not sooner. The White House is pushing back at any suggestions its policies have contributed to the financial markets uncertainty.
We're in pretty good shape, and I want to just say, you know, we should not be afraid of optimism.
The more important thing is, even during an expansion, most Americans haven't been able to get ahead. That is a huge problem, and the president has made it abundantly clear that he doesn't care.
Trade talks with China are slated to continue this week. President Trump says he could end the tariff war immediately, but that would mean settling for a bad deal. In more local news, a new report says life expectancy in Wisconsin has dropped for 2 years in a row, fueled by increased deaths from alcohol abuse and opioids. The Wisconsin Policy Forum report released today finds that while Wisconsin is mirroring a national trend in shorter life expectancies, overall, the state loses ground due to alcohol and opioid deaths and increased mortality among Black people. Drug and alcohol deaths in Wisconsin have more than tripled since 1999. The state's drug death rate has more than quadrupled since then. The life expectancy for a baby born in Wisconsin between 2015 and 2017 is 80 years, down from 80.2 years for babies born 2 years earlier. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Today, I'm sharing a dish that's a cross between a soup and a stew. So, when you're in the mood for that first of the season taste of comfort, you're armed and ready. It's officially summer, but before we know it, the kids will be back in school, the weather will start to cool down a bit, and you're going to be looking for dinner ideas that are hearty and that'll warm you up. So let me share a dish that's a cross between a soup and a stew. That way, when you're in the mood for that first of the season taste of comfort, you'll be armed and ready. We start by sauteing some turkey sausage, onion, and garlic all together until no pink remains. Let me tell you, this already smells amazing, and we're just getting started. Next, we add in a few cans of Great Northern beans with the liquid and all, a can of diced tomatoes, a good amount of chicken broth to give it some oomph, a bit of Italian seasoning, and a touch of black pepper. We'll let this simmer for a bit, and when it starts to thicken, we'll stir in a good handful of fresh spinach. Now, this is my kind of meal. It's all made in one pot, so cleanup's a breeze. Plus, it's budget-friendly, which means we can make it often. As for the taste, we'll let you find that out on your own. So head over to your tablet, computer, or phone so you can get the recipe for our Tuscan One Pot. I mean, why wouldn't you? I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a comforting fill-you-up way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, a sunny and warm start to the work week. Meteorologist Chris Reese has what's in store for the rest of the week in our first alert forecast. That's right after this. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issue. You can call our hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 608-270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 259 points. The NASDAQ up 115. The S&P 500 up 34. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee is out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. Chris is here now with our Monday forecast. Looking good out there, Chris.
Yeah, what a beautiful day it has been across south central Wisconsin. Clear skies as well. A few high clouds off in the distance, but check it out. This is from the station looking towards the west. You can see the top of the blue mounds out there. Let's head over to the Edgewater sky cam. We can see some high clouds towards the east, but still things are very beautiful. We're at 75 degrees with a calm wind right now, and get this, the dew points have dropped this morning and into the afternoon. Now they're into the mid-50s, so the air even drier now than it was when we woke up this morning. 75 is our temperature in Janesville as well. Mineral Point, the warm spot at 81. Boscobel at 78 degrees right now. So all of us are warming up, and we're going to continue to do so as we go throughout your morning or afternoon. Here's some of those dew points as well into the 50s. You still have some areas with those dew points into the 60s as you work your way closer to the state line. But visibility is all good after the fog that we had this morning, and high pressure continues to take over for us. We have a stationary front towards the south. That is actually what was responsible for yesterday's thunderstorms, but it is the separator, folks, from the comfortable air that we have compared to the extreme heat and humidity that they've had across the southern part of the country. In fact, let me go ahead and show you dew points. Here's the dry air over Wisconsin, but notice the tropical dew points throughout the Midwest. 72, the dew point as you work your way towards Indianapolis, 76 in Kansas City. And all of this is starting to work its way back towards the high plains, but this front is keeping that towards our south as we go through today, and that's going to be the theme for the next couple of days, though this high pressure slides ever so slightly to the east as we move into tomorrow. This allows for more of a southerly and southeasterly wind to get into the picture. That's going to bring a little bit more moisture our way before a cold front starts to slide southward out of Canada. So because of that, we do have some slight rain chances as we move into your Tuesday. Keep that in mind. But the rest of this afternoon, folks, we're going to be dry. Look at temperatures just on either side of 80 for your afternoon highs. We'll cool down to 60 overnight tonight, and most of us should be clear. What Future Track is trying to bring in, though I think it's a little fast, but it's trying to bring in an area of some showers and thunderstorms. But remember, I've mentioned the greatest humidity is down south. The greatest instability for storms is going to be down south. Watch what happens with this complex of storms. It goes to the south. That's why that's going to happen as we go into tomorrow, but it's just close enough that we'll have to leave at least a slight chance of rain into your Tuesday from that, along with the cold front that'll try to dive in from the north and west. But notice even that fell apart because our air is going to be relatively dry. We'll clear things out as we head into your Wednesday, and then watch this. Temperatures begin to come down. Our average is 79 right now, but as we get towards the middle of this week, we're going to see those temperatures drop multiple degrees below average. But here's we are this afternoon. Temperatures right around 81 for your high. Another clear and comfortable night with those lows right around 60 degrees. And then you have the week ahead. Oddly enough, Mark, other than this minor rain chance that I've mentioned, we're dry until we get you towards next Sunday.
We could use some drying out. It's kind of wet out there.
It's been wet, but yeah, it's certainly going to be dry for this stretch.
Great looking forecast.
Yes, thank you,
Chris. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. I'm next. Linda Barch from the Bruce Company is here taking your plant and garden questions. The number to call, 270-9933. We'll get to your calls right after this.
You may
Linda Bartsch from the WISC-TV is here taking your calls at 270-9933. You got some tall plants there.
I do have some tall plants. I'll sit up tall. I brought along some of the things that are blooming at this time of the year, and lovely coreopsis here. This moonbeam is in the back, and it really is not that tall when you think of some of the things that are growing this time of the year. I also brought a couple of sedums because they're just going to be coming into their own right now. And there's a really cool, bright pink one. This one is just a little softer, but it's called
subdued.
Carl.
Carl.
And then the one down front is one that's called Razzleberry. I'm sure that's inspired by the color of raspberries.
Very nice.
Yes.
Beautiful plants. All right,
Thanks.
let's get to the calls. We will start with Diane from Fitchburg. Hi, Diane.
Hi, I'm calling regarding my tomato plants. The bottom of the tomato is getting rotted out.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that from?
Well, it's a very simple name. It's called blossom end rot because that's where the flower was originally. And when we have this much rain, the calcium is leached from the soil profile, and so then they're more prone to develop that. So there's not much. Pick them as soon as they're sort of ripe. Let them finish ripening, and then try to, harvest as much as you can. But obviously next year, if we have this kind of rain, make sure that you fertilize with something that contains calcium. Yes, it is.
All right. We'll go to Rose now from Madison. Hi, Rose. What's your question?
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question on a Christmas cactus. I have a Christmas, no, not a cactus, a poinsettia.
Oh.
And I watered it all along, and all of a sudden, it lost all the leaves, but the blooms were still on. And now the leaves are coming back. It looks good. So what do I do with it? Can I just keep doing that to keep it till Christmas or what?
Well, you can keep it as a houseplant. They usually don't thrive very much, especially if they're growing indoors. If you move that outside, it probably would survive much better. But to get the colored panicles that develop, you have to go through a whole process of 14 hours of darkness. And it's a little complicated. Mostly people just keep it as a houseplant, and then when it's not looking good, they just move on to a new, or just buy a new poinsettia in the.
And the flowers are actually little yellow things on the top.
That's true. The real flowers are actually the little yellow ones in the center.
All right. Let's go to Peggy now in Monona. Hi, Peggy.
Hi, I'm calling about my hydrangea,
Okay.
or lack thereof. No matter what I do, it doesn't flower. If I cut it all the way back, it doesn't flower. If I leave it and cut it just partially back, it gets some buds on the ends, but usually in the spring there's a frost, and then those get frozen, and then I don't have anything.
Okay.
So I don't know what to do with it. I'm thinking about moving it.
All right. Well, do you happen to know what kind of hydrangea you have? Because there's.
Well, it was bought in the grocery store.
What
So
color are
I
the
don't
flowers?
really know.
Oh, well, then it may not even be a hydrangea that's hardy in Wisconsin. That may be when they're floral hydrangeas that have big, beautiful blooms that are typically either pink or blue. Those are not going to do well in Wisconsin. So I don't know if you want to bother with it, but you could try moving it to a sunnier spot. Usually people get those and then they plant them in a dense shade, and then they're not going to thrive at all. But I think you're better off just buying a hydrangea that's intended to grow here in Wisconsin.
Well, it did flower. It did come back and flower one year, but after that it never did it.
Well, I'm guessing that it's the type that you cannot prune it back in the fall of the year, that you're going to leave the woody stems, and that's going to be the most likely where you're going to set buds and have flowers.
All right, let's go to Judy in Madison. Hi, Judy.
Good afternoon.
Hi. What's your question?
I have a question regarding cutting back daylilies. My daylilies now have stopped blooming, and I'm eager to cut them back because they sort of are covering up mums and things that are starting to get ready to bloom. Mm-hmm. And I also would like to know if I can cut back my Shasta daisies and my peonies.
Okay. At the end of August, maybe a little bit early. If anything on the daylily is not looking good, certainly cut that back, or if it's crowding something. The peonies, again, if you have botrytis on those, I always tell people to cut them back as soon as possible, but make sure that you do a real thorough removal all the way down to the ground with peonies in the fall. Shasta daisies, I guess I thought that they would still be blooming a little bit, yet I think it's a little bit too early. I would do that probably mid-September.
Okay. We have time for one more call. We'll go to Judy in Verona. Hi, Judy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's your question?
Good. I have a sweet potato vine that I have put in water. It's got lots of roots. Can I now put it in soil, or should it stay in water?
Well, are you going to try to have that over winter? Because that's I tried to just store that like you would a dahlia bulb or something, and it did not survive. So if you're going to grow that as a house plant, you could try to move it to soil, but it's not going to survive year-round with the amount of sunlight that we get.
Okay. All right, we're out of time. If you're on the line, stay there. Linda will talk to you off the air. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Chris has one final check of the forecast.
We'll keep the sunshine around as we go into the afternoon. Look for temperatures to warm into the low 80s. Clear skies are expected overnight tonight with the low right around 60. Into Tuesday, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds. There's a slight chance of rain, though I do think a lot of us are going to end up being dry. The middle of the week into the weekend are just absolutely fantastic. Perhaps another rain chance by Sunday and Monday next week.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.